there. Tripp Isenhour with my good friend Rex Hoggard. A lot going on recently in the game of golf. We got a new world number one, but we're going to leave that alone. We got a distance report that just came out. There seems to be a lot of chatter now about bifurcation, what to do about it, how we do, what's going on with the players. Rex, it just seems like there's a lot of focus now on distance, but there's a lot of talk about maybe changing that. But at the back end of it, the players, all they're changing is their club head speeds.
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
getting faster and faster and faster. And who can blame them?
Well, bigger, stronger, faster athletes. That's the deal, right? That's where we're going down the future. They're not going to suddenly become smaller, rounder, slower. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We've moved on from that. And I think what we saw, specifically Tiger was asked about this yesterday in the distance report and what his thoughts were, and he kind of danced around it like a lot of guys have. He put his architect hat on and said how hard it is to design golf courses these days with how far players hit the ball. But he did make the distinction. It's not me and my friends that's hitting the ball too far. It's you and your friends that are hitting the ball too far. And it's always been that way. The 15 handicaps of the world never walk off a golf course and say to themselves, oh, I've hit the ball too far. I don't want to play this game anymore. What stands out to me is all of them are saying it needs to be looked at. But you look at it almost in consecutive weeks. Tiger Woods at Torrey Pines puts a new driver in play, talks about picking up club head speed. Phil Mickelson last week at Pebble Beach talks about picking up ball speed. He actually jumped, and these numbers are amazing to me. I hate getting lost in the numbers like this. 178 miles per hour ball speed last year, 182 this year, which is a significant jump. Bryson DeChambeau, in a really good Ryan Lavner column that he wrote today on golfchannel.com, he went from last season 175 to 187.
That's amazing.
That's massive, and he added 20 pounds, and he did it in different ways. And we're going to sit here and say we need to dial the ball back. Unless you're going to tell guys not to go to the gym, unless you're going to tell them not to get bigger, stronger, faster, it ain't going to happen, man.
Okay, from my perspective, I'm for some sort of bifurcation. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem that I've got with the way it's going. Because you can add club head speed. Yeah, you can go to the gym. You can do that. But the requisite skill to do that is a lot less required than to hit the middle of the club repeatedly. Okay, so bigger club heads, bigger sweet spots, and the penalty for missing that sweet spot exponentially reduced as far as accuracy problem.
Sure.
You swing harder, you swing faster. Case in point is Cameron Tringali and Danny Lee. I'll go with Danny Lee. He's added 22 miles an hour of club head speed. He was at 290.
That's ridiculous.
He was at 290 in 2018. He's at 312 now. Now, here's the problem. I don't have a problem with anybody can do that, and it's hard work that he did. Here's the problem. His scoring average, 70.66 in 2018. It's 69.43 right now. That's
There's a direct correlation.
1.25 strokes. I don't blame Danny Lee for doing it. Smart guy for doing it. And I don't blame anybody for increasing club head speed. What I want is a way to bifurcate the game that's very simple. Make the sweet spot smaller and make the penalty for missing it exponentially more the further you go from it. That's what the world I grew up in. A small sweet spot with a spinny ball. You make the ball spinny. I'm not saying draw the ball back. I'm saying make it spin more. And I'm saying make it spin more the further it goes from the thing. We've always had bombers. Jack Nicklaus was one of the longest in the game history.
Yeah.
And he is the greatest player as far as majors goes. But here's the thing. Jack hit the middle of the club. So he was hitting the middle of the club, and that's why he was better than everybody else. Ben Hogan as well. I'm not saying that those guys, Ben Hogan was 5'8" and one of the longest in the game, but he hit it in the middle of the club time and time again. And the penalty when they missed it, we couldn't find the golf ball. And that will slow everybody down just enough, because if you swing at 312 miles an hour and you miss the sweet spot by a quarter of an inch, I want it off the golf course. I want you not to be able to find it. So you'll slow down and learn to hit the middle. Now that's a skill that is very difficult and one that the best players possess.
Well, and one that seems to be a dying skill.
That's my point.
Yeah, if we're looking at it in the context of the modern game, Riviera being one of the exceptions, most golf courses on the PGA Tour don't even require that you hit the middle of the fairway. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few golf courses where there is a legitimate penalty for hitting
Harbour Town
hitting it
comes to
offline.
mind.
I guess my point too, and I understand where you're coming from, that if you make the ball spinnier and you suddenly make accuracy count, I get that. I guess I would go with just a flat statement. And if you just dial the ball back, whatever number you want, 10, 15%, these guys are still going to be trying to get bigger, stronger, faster.
Of course.
It's what they always do. The equipment companies, they have better mad scientists than the rule makers have, because this is just the way it's always going to be, and it's that way in every other sport. They're always going to be trying to hit it farther. And that's just the reality that we live in.
And here, Rex, the best,
I don't know that there's anything wrong with it.
There's not. My point is the best players are still going to be the best players. I don't want to roll the ball back. I want you and every amateur to have a ball that can go as far as it wants, and I want a club head for you guys that if you hit it, and all I'm saying is add a little bulge and roll. Make the club heads come down in size a little bit and make the ball spin more. I don't care if you can drive it 330 yards like some of these players can today. I don't care, but I want you to have to be very precise in where you strike that club to get that.
Now, it was fascinating. We had this conversation before we came on camera, and how the landscape has changed since you were on tour. Because my argument was that even when you were on tour, you tried to hit it farther.
Of course.
But you said there was also the idea that you had to hit it straight as well.
Yes.
And I don't think that's at least a primary objective right now for most players.
It is. It is. I don't like the term bomb and gouge, but I mean, it basically, and the strokes gained metric that Mark Brody came up with, the Columbia professor, I mean, it proves it out. He's like, I don't care if you're in the fairway or not, you're going to gain strokes the closer you get to the green.
That's always been the Moneyball stat in golf.
Of course. Yeah, that and so, the further down you get it and the higher club you have in your hand is going to always be an advantage, even if you are in the rough. Now, what we can do to mitigate that is, again, a spinnier ball. So when you're in the rough, the ball, you're going to get flyers. You're going to have balls that spin a lot more. You're not going to be able to control that ball out of the rough. So there'll be penalty for being in the rough. And all I want is a reward for being in the fairway. That's what I want. I don't care how far off the tee you hit it, but I want a ball that again, I don't like dialing it back. And for amateurs, I agree with it. See, the conundrum is the amateurs need every advantage they can get, because you know what? The 15 handicapper. What was a 15 handicapper with Persimmon Woods is a 15 handicapper with today's equipment.
Oh, I
is
haven't
a 15
changed.
handicap. I mean, exactly.
I haven't changed the lick.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter how much better the equipment gets.
Yeah.
You think you're going to hit it that much further, and it really just doesn't make that big a difference in your game.
Exactly. Buying a golf game has never been an issue.
Excuse me, I have to go buy a new driver right now.
Well, that'll do it. Rex Hoggard and Tripp Isenhour, thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.